Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, welcome. I am Renee. My husband Scott and I live on 5 acres in Michigan. We raise chickens, Angora goats, and Angora rabbits. Been doing the rabbit thing for about 20 years now, so it's been quite a while. We also have 5 children, all grown, and we have 6 grandkids. Number 7 is on his way any day now here in the next few weeks, so I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, I am so glad you're here. The channel continues to grow and I'm glad to see that. Today I am hopping on to talk about Angora rabbits and rabbit colors. I have been promising a rabbit genetics video for quite a while now. Still have not done that. I have not done a deep dive into the study part of it, which I think is going to probably take me the longest to do. But I thought maybe this would be a good beginning into that series, talking about colors and yarns and fibers and all the things. I have been doing a ton of grooming this week. All of my grooming that I did this week was all just combing with a comb. I will start shearing. Usually I start shearing them completely down in May because of the weather. Once it hits 80 degrees out or so, Angoras don't do so well with the heat. They do much better with the cold. I am going to pop in some pictures probably at the beginning of the video here, so I'll put a little music to it. These are pictures of all of the rabbits that I have in different color categories, I guess, and I wanted you to see those. Quite a few of the pictures you're going to see are my outdoor colony rabbits, and I am really, really pleased with how they are looking. I have 4 outdoor rabbits right now, all French Angoras. I have 3 chestnuts in varying degrees of chestnut, and we're going to talk about that. And I have 1 red-eyed white out there, and we will probably talk about her fiber first. But they are all doing amazing. I've been very happy with how it's working out. I do have a few changes I want to make out there this spring, but beyond that, it's working great. So let's talk about few different techniques, different things. First off, I do want to address, I do not have a blower. I do not use a blower. I have never used a blower. I know this conversation, like a lot of conversations in the animal world come up, people all have their own differing opinions about how to do things. One of the things that I've always hoped to do with my channel is to change that narrative that there's only one way to do things. And I think Angora rabbits get a bad rap in regards to how to groom them, how grooming is done overall. There's a lot of tension in regards to that, I guess I'll say, without getting myself in trouble. So there's always someone who's going to do something different than what you are. I am on quite a few different rabbit like Facebook pages and things like that I follow, and I've had these conversations with people, and there are some people out there that are adamant that you have to have a blower in order to have good fiber. I totally disagree. I've never owned a blower. I've never used a blower. All of my Angora, like I said, is either combed. I do pluck sometimes, although I do prefer to comb mostly. And then I do all of them by shearing when it's in the warm months. And so, yeah, I do not use a blower. Another conversation that has been on some of those sites recently that I saw was talking about how fiber has to be 5 to 6 inches to be prime spinning fiber. I disagree with that also. I think that, and again, you can disagree with me. That's fine. I am I lean more towards the fact that anything about 3 inches and above can be spun. And depending on how you're getting the fiber from the rabbit is going to make a difference in that also. I prefer combed fiber. Combed fiber looks like this when you take it off the rabbit. This is all combed this week, and I picked a really bad day to do this video, and I don't think I have any more options because we are getting rain. So I have all the lights on. I know the colors aren't going to be great. They're actually coming through okay, but one of the reasons I wanted to do this video was to show you some of the different colors. So this is what combed fiber looks like, and this is my preferred method of spinning. It saves a step. I just take a handful of this and spin just from this. I typically, when I am going to clip fiber, which I have some in my hand here, this stuff is about 3 inches or so. I typically will always card clipped fiber just to blend it better and to make it a little bit easier to work with. You do not have to do that though. You can spin clipped fiber right from the tips. Spin it just like that. I just prefer that. Let me see if I can find a better piece here. This one's got a piece of hay in it. I think that the blunt ends are sometimes hard. They're quite blunt, and so when you're spinning, you really want to work those through your fingers to kind of smooth those out so they're not so blunt. And you can kind of see I did that just by working them through my fingers. But I do sometimes spin right from the clipped hair or the clip fiber. So there are a couple different ways to go about doing that. I also want to talk about, let's see, I've got so many things here. I got to make sure I'm covering everything I want to cover. We want to talk about colors and everything. Let's start here before I get too deep into colors and spinning and stuff. I want to show you this. This is off my red-eyed white Min, and this was from yesterday. And she is on the ground in a colony. There is some dirt out there. There's stone. There's hay, so she is out in the elements, but I wanted to show you, this is straight off from her. One of the beauties, or one of the beautiful things of Angoras is you can spin, I will spin this right from this bag, probably today. I have a whole bunch of white spin, and you guys can see this is very clean, very beautiful fiber, and she's out on the ground. Again, they're all looking really, really amazing. She's my only white one out there right now, and I'm debating on adding more to that colony. I think I have plenty of space. I'm also debating on creating a new colony. I don't know. We'll see. So I wanted to show you that, show you how well her fiber looks. And when I talk about my red-eyed whites or blue-eyed whites, this is what their fiber is. It's not... It does look pure white, just when you're looking at it, you put up against my shirt. It does lean more towards a cream color in reality, but it is a white Angora. So that is what you would get if you got a white yarn, white fiber, white rabbit. It would be something like that. And she's a French Angora. I wanted to... Let's see, I don't have any. I also have red Angoras. I have 2 red Angoras, and actually my doe is due tomorrow, and she is out there making a nest right now. So I'm hoping to have some baby bunnies this weekend. And I don't have any fiber right now from them because I've spun it all this week. But I wanted to show you, this is what, let's see, I want to get it. This is what red Angora fiber would look like. So yeah, that's that. Where do I want to go? When you talk about chestnuts, I have many chestnuts do I have right now? 3, 4, I have 6 chestnut Angoras right now. And those are quite a range of colors also. When you think about, actually this basket full of fiber, cat wants outside. This is from two of my French Angoras today. This one here is the chestnut Angora, and this one leans more towards a gray, darker chestnut. This is actually, she is a blue steel, so she is a gray rabbit, and her papers are blue steel is her color. So she has, and I think you can kind of see that blue in there. They look close, but there's definitely some differences in their color. When you're talking about chestnut, there's also a lighter, more orangey tone chestnut. And again, I'm going to try to jump into all of this. I think how I'm going to do this color thing is I'm going to do one color at a time. I am going to do, I'm going to start with white because they're easy. We could talk about red-eye whites and blue-eye whites and things like that, but the white gene, how that works. And so that's where I think I'm going to start. But this here is also, let me put it up. This is also a chestnut rabbit, and she leans much more towards an orangey brown tone rather than this dark one here. And I don't know if you're going to be able to pick that up. I think you can see the lighter tones in there. So there are varying degrees of chestnut Angoras, and you can kind of see the brown. There's some brown hues in here. You can see that a little bit more. I think you can pick up that a little bit, but you're seeing the brown tips. But she is leaning much more towards a lighter yarn color. And when I spin the chestnut, I do have some yarns here. This is my lighter, and I think this fiber was carded because it's pretty consistent in color. And this is picking up pretty dark on film, on the camera. But this is a lighter chestnut color. It's almost a taupe gray color, whereas this is, and this has a lot of color in it. I just finished this one last night, and this has a lot of dark in it. It also has some light in it, and I think you can see that. So I haven't decided if I'm going to, there's some of the light too. I haven't decided, yeah, I think you can kind of see some of the varying colors in there. I haven't decided if I'm going to put this on the website or if I'm going to keep it for myself. I don't know. There is a lot of colors going on in here. It's beautiful. Another thing, when you're doing Angora rabbits, you can, there's a couple different ways to do it. You can keep all of your rabbits individual when you're grooming them. So like I don't like keeping them in bags, but I also have these cool things that I find at Goodwill stores a lot. Something like this. You can put your rabbit's name on it if you want to keep them all separate, and then just spin strictly from one color. I tend to not do that. I do put my reds together. I have 2. So like my bobbins of red are from my 2 reds. Their colors are very much the same color. This spin here is actually from I think this is my blue steel. And so oftentimes I will take her fiber and mix it in with some of the chestnut. I do not have a true gray fiber animal right now where there's no variance in color or anything. And actually, when you talk about an Angora rabbit with gray fiber, they typically are going to have a black face, and that means that they are black Angora rabbits. And that color, a lot of times you're going to get your color from what they are as a baby. That's when you're going to decide what color they are. And baby Angoras, when they are black baby Angoras, they are very black all over, and as their coat grows out, the gray comes out very much so. As Angoras age, they also kind of lighten up, I guess, as they get older. And so you'll see maybe what started out as a very dark rabbit, as he or she gets older, is going to kind of change in color. So we've talked about black, we've talked about chestnut, red, white. I have some fawn. I have one, I think one German fawn Angora right now. And so this is all clipped fiber, which I will card. And I think you can kind of see that. This has a reddish hue to it, but it's very much a fawn color. And so that's what that color would be. Let's see. That part bobbins that I'm working through this weekend. That's kind of on my mission plan. I have some more fawn here. This is really light. This you can see much better. And that's off of Fawn Rabbit. So it's not, you really can tell the white from when you talk about it not being quite right, but then, or quite white, but then when you put it up against the fawn, I think you can see the color difference there. So this does become more of a true white when you see it up against a lighter color. Another thing that you're going to get when you're spinning, I talked about spinning straight from combed fiber, my preference, and you will get, I think you guys can kind of see the varying colors. You've got some lights and darks, and you will get that in your yarn. That does show up in your yarn. I think you can see it in these skeins that I have, hopefully. And one thing to remember, if you do choose to spin from clipped fiber, especially like my chestnuts, let me see if I can find a good piece to show you from. When you get the color variances in your chestnut where, I don't know if that's going to show up. So there's quite a bit of brown here on the tips. Here is gray, and then it's pretty light at the very root. If you were to spin straight from this, you're going to see that in your yarn more so than if you were to card it. When you card it, it does blend it up quite a bit more to where you have, when I look at that yarn or that fiber right now, I can tell it's chestnut because of the brown colors in it. But if I were to take that and card it, I'm going to card a lot of those colors together, so you end up with more of a color that is one color when you get done carding it, if that makes sense. There's not so many variances in the color scheme there. So again, I do not have a blower. I want you guys, I've addressed this before, and be real cautious when people say you must and you have to. You must have your staple length at 5 or 6 inches. You must have a blower to have fiber that you can sell. I saw an argument today. I don't know if it was on an Angora Facebook page or if it was just a rabbit page in general, and they were arguing over feeding hay versus pellets versus both and how to go about doing that. I don't know. There are people out there that are just feeding pellets to their rabbits and they're doing fine. I do both hay and pellets, but I don't know that you have to. I think in this world you need to just do what works for you. Again, I don't have a blower. None of my fiber has ever been blown out, but yeah, I sell my fiber. I sell my yarn. I do not typically, to get 5 or 6 inches of staple length on a rabbit is really, really tough. And I think some rabbits have it to where they're naturally more going to do that than others. But and that it does depend on diet, whether or not you're feeding your rabbits well. All of that is going to come into play. When you talk about when people get upset because you're grooming your rabbit, and people get real mad when they hear you say the word pluck. Well, if you don't take care of your rabbit's fiber, you're not going to have good fiber to sell. So just a couple things to keep in mind there. I had a conversation with someone this week, and I won't go into details, but she told me something that in regards to a regulation, she told me that this was a certain regulation. I'm like, oh, I had no idea. I did not know that. Well, out of curiosity for my own personal knowledge, I looked it up, and it wasn't right. That was not a regulation. And so I think do a lot of research yourself. Find YouTube channels, mine or others, that are teaching different ways to go about doing things. So yeah, I did want to touch on that a little bit, because I've had a lot of people contact me recently saying, I don't know if I can sell my fiber. Would you look at it? Could you help me decide whether or not it's good enough fiber to sell? Because I'm reading these groups and these posts, and they're saying you can't do this and you can't do that. If you've got fiber that looks anything like this, and this, this is beautiful fiber. This is very sellable, very spinnable. And I don't think you'd have any problem selling it when it looks like that. It's clean. There's no little pieces. I told the person that I'm talking about right now, I told him to, make sure you didn't have any little second cuts. He was combing the fiber, so you shouldn't have second cuts in there, but you always want to take out mats. You always want to take out VM, which is hay or anything, grass, anything like that. Make sure your fiber is clean. You do not have to wash Angora before you sell it or spin it. That's the beauty of Angora. It can be taken right from the rabbit onto your spinning wheel. So I hope this helps this week. I hope I kind of touched base on some of the colors of Angoras, and I am going to slowly start working that into my weekly videos. And like I said, I'll probably start with the whites. We'll break it down into rabbits, individual colors, and not try to do the whole thing at once, because it's overwhelming to me to think about the genetics thing. And I may not get everything right. There are a lot of people out there that have a lot more color genetics information than what I do. So I'm going to slowly work through it and hopefully get you some information. I have a few cool things coming up. Don't forget, for those of you local in Michigan, I will be at the Mitten Homesteaders Conference in May in just south of Ionia. I will be there speaking on the Angoras and having a small acreage fiber animal, which the Angoras are. So I'll be doing that. I have a few plans for some fun interviews here on the channel, so I'm looking forward to that. And I hope this video was helpful. If you guys have any questions or comments, please put them down below. I always try to answer those. And if you have any video ideas that you'd like more information or would like me to do a video about, I would be glad to do that. If you don't already, please click the subscribe button. I upload twice a week. If you want to see more daily stuff from me, go to Instagram. That is where I'm most active. I show the rabbits there. I'm trying to get better on stories. It doesn't always happen every day, but I am trying to do better on that. With just the daily stuff going on around here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope you get to create something today.